Here's a book on creativity by Osho. Now, Osho was a spiritual leader of sorts back in the 70s, died in the 90s. I think 1990, yes, that's when he died. And he has a lot of fans even today. India's successful Prime Minister Manmohan Singh is one of the biggest fans of Osho. He mentioned that he has read almost the entire works of Osho. And I can see why, because for one, Osho is somebody really easy to read, and two, he talks, his writing is something that puts you in a state of relaxation. This particular book called Creativity, he talks about how to be a creative person, and the gist of this book would primarily be to create a state of relaxation, to not have too many, to let go of the ego, and finding some way to quiet out the mind and let the energy flow through you. So he uses poetry to explain how his poetic words, he uses his poetic words to explain how you can let go of your ego and let go of your mind and go in a state of peaceful flow, and then in that state you start creating things joyously around yourself. Don't worry too much, don't be egoistic, don't be self-conscious, don't be too critical of yourself. Just let go and start flowing. Act in harmony with nature. The more you think, the more you are. The ego is nothing but all thoughts accumulated. When you are not, God is. That is creativity. Nature gives everybody energy, which is creative. It becomes destructive only when it is obstructive, when no natural flow is allowed. If you see a painter painting, certainly he is active, utterly active, madly active. He is all action. If you see a dancer dancing, he is all action. But still, deep down there is no actor, no doer. There is only silence. Hence I say creativity is a state of paradox. It talks about the 5 obstacles of creativity. 1, self-consciousness. People don't like to do easy things. Before they can do them, they want to make them hard, difficult. People enjoy doing hard things. Why? Because you face a hard thing, your ego becomes subtle, sharp. There is a challenge. Change happens when you start dropping conflict with existence. That is the only meaning of all great religions. When they emphasize drop the ego, they're saying drop the conflict. To grow real roses is difficult. You can purchase plastic roses. They will not deceive you, but they will deceive the neighbor. That is the point of the ego. Self-consciousness is always afraid, always trembling, and you will always need support from others. Somebody to appreciate you, somebody to clap, somebody to say how beautiful you are and how intelligent. Listening is one of the basic secrets of entering into the temple of God. Listening means passivity. Listening means forgetting yourself completely. Only then can you listen. When you listen attentively to somebody, you forget yourself. If you cannot forget yourself, you will never listen. Number 2, the second obstacle is called perfectionism. Ego always wants to be higher, better than others. Hence, it is a perfectionist. The law of grace. He talks about becoming graceful. He says science knows the law of gravitation, but the law of grace is equally as present as the law of gravitation. Exactly like that, another law, the law of grace, which uplifts a person. The law of gravitation pulls things down. The law of grace lifts things up. In yoga, they call it levitation. in a certain state of abandon, in a certain state of drunkenness, drunk with the divine, in a certain state of utter surrender, egolessness, the law starts functioning. One is uplifted. One becomes weightless. So he says, when you let go of the ego, you become more graceful. Number 3, the obstacle. Intellect. The mind is past and nothing else. Mind means memory. There can be no contemporary mind. To be contemporary is to be without a mind. This is where he asks you to let go of the thoughts of the past. Intellect is something pseudo, something false. A really alive person is a here-now person. He does not live out the past. He does not live for the future. He lives only in the moment. For the moment. The moment is all. Poetry again. Lots of poetry. He says universities go on creating PhDs, but your universities don't create Shakespeare, Milton's, Dostoevsky's, Tolstoy's, Rabindranath's, Khalil Gibran's. They don't create Picasso's, they don't create Van Gogh's, Mozart's. All of these people are not created in universities. Intelligence is a totally different dimension from the intellect. It has nothing to do with the head. It has something to do with the heart. Intellect is in the head. Intelligence is a state of heart wakefulness. Creativity means bringing the new into existence, making a way for the unknown to penetrate the known, making a way for the sky to come to earth. When there is a Beethoven or a Michelangelo or a Kalidas, the sky opens, the flower showers from the beyond. The expert, the knowledgeable, the intellectual has no insight of his own. If you cling too much to logic, you will never be able to be a part of the living process that existence is. Life is more than logic. Life is a paradox. 4th obstacle to creativity is belief. Some of the greatest books are those which are unfinished. Some of the greatest arts are that which are unfinished. The unfinished has a beauty. To bring intelligence into activity, you don't need more information, you need more meditation. You need to become more silent, you need to become more thoughtless, you need to become less mind and more heart. Creativity has nothing to do with an activity in particular. You can paint in an uncreative way, you can sing in an uncreative way, you can clean the floor in a creative way, you can cook in a creative way. Creativity is the quality that you bring to an activity. It is an attitude, an inner approach, how you look at things, creativity. Whatever you do, if you do it joyfully, if you do it lovingly, if your act of doing it is not purely economic, then it is creative. The consideration should be that you're enjoying whatever you're doing. It is your love affair. If your act is your love affair, then it becomes creative. Small things become great by the touch of love and delight. Belief is not just belief. It opens doors, it closes doors. If you have a wrong belief, that will hang around you as a closed door. If you believe that you are uncreative, you become uncreative because of that belief. Because that belief will obstruct, continuously negate all possibilities of flowing. If you really want to be creative, then there is no question of money, success, prestige, respect.